FileWave admin interface allows you to organize your clients any way that you would like. You can choose to build your own groups and easily and quickly move your clients into those groups. By either following our menu prompts or by dragging and dropping. You can also allow your clients to be members of multiple groups by using a process that we call cloning. This allows you to create secondary groups that serve a special purpose. Clients that you need for that special purpose can then be selected and cloned into that particular group. These cloned clients are simply representative members of this group for those particular client machines. They can be manipulated without adjusting the master machine. When you build an association to a client machine, the FileWave client is responsible for managing that association. So if we were to take one of our clients, in this case we'll grab our Windows client and deploy out a very large file set, in this particular case Office, we make that association to our client machine simply by dragging and dropping, and then we're able to see that association created. Here you can see the association below. We've marked this as a standard association, which means that our client will be responsible for downloading and activating that association on this client machine. We'll update our model to present that change to our client. Once we've updated our model, our client is then responsible for checking into the FileWave server and downloading that file set. If something were to happen to that particular client, in this case we'll simulate a network connection loss by disconnecting the active network connection for this machine. That client download process would be stopped in the middle of download. Now for all other types of deployments, this means the end. In this case, what we're going to do is simply disable this connection for now. And once this connection is disabled, we'll see this client drop offline. This means that the client is no longer able to connect to the FileWave server, and then therefore no longer able to download any file sets. But that's okay, because we're managing these clients at the file level. This client will be able to resume the download process as soon as it becomes available. So to simulate that connection being enabled again, we will reconnect this client to the network and allow it to continue downloading. Once that client has come online, you'll see it connect into the FileWave server, and it will check to resume its current download status. So here you can see the client building a list of all the files required left to download, and now resuming the download where it left off, but only the files that were remaining as part of the download process. The FileWave client also manages all of the components of any file set that has been deployed to its client machines. Now in this particular instance, we've deployed Skype out with our FileWave admin. And on this client machine, Skype launches and runs just like you might expect, prompting us with a login window. We should probably note that this is Skype 5.0, so when we get info on this particular application, we can see the version number listed here. Now because FileWave is managing all components of this app, even though this is a self-contained app file, it has components inside the app that could be corrupted or damaged at any time. So let's simulate that damage simply by destroying some of the files inside of the bundle. So we're simply going to drill down inside the macOS folder and simply delete the Skype executable that's listed inside. Now note that this is only 7.3 megs of the entire 33 meg deployment. So what will happen is when we've destroyed this piece, we've broken the application, we'll keep it from running. We'll empty the trash here for good measure. And because Skype is no longer able to launch and run successfully, once we've broken this component, the application to the end user appears to be damaged and or corrupted. We can tell the FileWave client that we want it to go ahead and execute a self-heal immediately. Normally this process would happen every 24 hours or every time the end user were to reboot the machine. In this particular case, we'll launch the client monitor and force the client to check all of the file sets that it has currently deployed out. Any file sets that have been deployed out and damaged or deleted will be repaired or replaced. So now our end user should be able to go down to their Skype installation and launch it just the way they were able to before. You'll notice that this happened quietly in the background for the end user. So no interruption was taking place. The user did not have to be notified that their application was being repaired. This allows your end users to continue working without interruption, even during deployments or during repairs. If you're preparing to move to a new version of a piece of software, FileWave has the ability for you to use a rollback functionality just in case one of those deployments doesn't go quite as you had planned. Let's do that now with our Skype application that we looked at before. So for our demo client, we've currently deployed out Skype 5.0. We're ready to upgrade our users to Skype 5.8. So what we're going to do is utilize the rollback functionality. Just in case 5.8 is incompatible with some of the third-party plugins and other Skype functionalities that our users are used to, we'll be able to roll them back to 5.0 quickly and easily. Setting up a rollback type deployment is relatively simple. We're simply going to associate our Skype 5.8 out to our client device. We could also deploy this to a group of machines that our client happens to be a member of. Once we've made the association, you'll see both of our applications listed here below. So on Skype 5.0, we're simply going to choose to make it inactive, and we'll round this up. And choose to make Skype 5.8 active. Again, this will happen quietly in the background, so our end users will be unaware, but their application will be updated. Should one of the users actually have this application open at the time, the FileWave client will wait for that end user to close out that application before moving forward. So we've waited to the appointed time here, and now our client has gone ahead and rolled back the previous version of Skype and updated to the new version. We can confirm this by getting info on this app and noticing that the version number has increased to 5.8. Again, this was done quietly in the background without the end user noticing. We can launch the application just like normal, and it pops up with the new version for the user to sign in. So how did we do this with the rollback functionality in place? Well, when we look at the Associations tab, we'll see that we scheduled the activation of the app to happen at the same time that we scheduled the previous version to go into what we call passive mode, or deactivated. This is not removing the application from the machine. This is simply taking the application and making it inert. In other words, it's still taking up the same amount of hard drive space on the machine, but we've moved it back into our proprietary container into a hidden location on the drive. This allows you to revert back to this previous version without your clients re-downloading the application from FileWave. So if we were to find that Skype 5.8 was incompatible with the third-party plugin or network restrictions that we have in our environment, or maybe our users just don't prefer the new interface to the version in 5.0, we would be able to roll one user, a group of users, or even all users back to Skype 5.0 without them having to re-download the previous version. We could do that simply here by adjusting the deployment schedule. So now we'll choose to delete Skype 5.8 or make it passive, whichever you prefer, and reactivate Skype 5.0. Now these changes will happen immediately when we update our model, so we'll do that now. Our FileWave client will again quietly in the background revert back to the version 5.0 of Skype without having to re-download the actual application from the FileWave server. We can now verify that this process is completed the way we did before, by opening the Applications folder and getting info on the application. This gives our users the ability to use Skype 5.0 without any trouble. When we're ready to switch back, if we choose, we can to Skype 5.8, or if we'd like, we can simply delete it from the user system by removing the association.